Thank you. I'll brief. In all the contributions that were coming, I was hearing a lot of they, a lot of we. Who is we and who is they? And it's something that we really need to ponder on. Kuti, when we are saying they need to do this, we need to do this. Who is we? Is we this room? Is it the honorables? So I think we need to put this question to us as individuals, as young people, to take the progressive actions that are needed at an individual level. Because one thing that I've noticed, I liked it when Karen was saying names of young people who are doing huge things out there. But I wanted to take it back into this room. In my interactions yesterday, I interacted with a lot of young people who are within this room, who are doing great works in their respective fields, be it in civil society, politics, in churches, all those sectors, and they are within this room. But we consistently are pointing fingers to some institutions, to some theys and we's to make those particular solutions. So I think the solutions to peace, the solutions to inclusion, the solutions to everything are within these rooms and within these individuals who are within these rooms. So there's no we, there's no they, there's I, there's you, there's me, and we need to take those progressive steps to ensure that we are included. Chimuti ngachipiwe vechidiki antindo zvazvitaurwa, but chimuti achipiwe vechidiki, chimuti ngachitorwe nevechidiki, and aunotora chimuti wega kusamirira kupiwa chimuti.
Thank you so much. Yes, give to Dube. Simba, give to Dube for his closing remarks.
And, thank you so much. So I won't be brief, unlike my brother. So, like for instance, the conflicts that I think we've identified as we're talking are things to do with corruption, things to do with intimidation, poverty, cultural norms, ageism, identity, rule by law, inequality, and power consolidation, amongst many others, right? And I believe that there's a statement in politics that says power cannot be shared, but rather politics is a game of interest and numbers, right? So the compromise that is there that can help young people and the older generation to have peace is to look at the interests, and all those interests need to be what are hinged on development. So let's have development as the compromise. Let's have unity and patriotism as the compromise. So with development, we're talking about things like an institution, like having institutions that are accountable, institutions that are strong enough and are democratic in terms of what? In terms of realizing their duties. We are saying that let's have equitable distribution of resources to say in every policy that we're doing, young people, they are represented, the older generation are represented, everyone, every key stakeholder, every key group is represented. That is equitable distribution of resources. We are saying that policy, let there be policy consistency, whereby everything needs to lead back to the Constitution, where the Constitution speaks of youth inclusion, and we've got a policy that talks of 25% in terms of inclusion, but then we also have got a Constitution that is now amended to say which is 10 seats for the youth, and all that is 0.something% of the youth having power. Everything needs to be consistent. Let's have one measure of power. Let's have one measure in terms of everything that we're doing in administration. And also economic empowerment. A lot has been done in terms of the government of Zimbabwe, in terms of youth economic empowerment. So now what is needed is for young people to first research, and after researching, know what economic empowerment is and how to take hold of the opportunities that are there. Because as much as we can play the blame game, there are still places where this whole conflict of resources can be solved by just knowing and having the information. And lastly, and most importantly, I think constitutionalism is the only thing that will help us to have peace as like solve this entire generational conflict, because it's always a case of a person feeling like they are above the Constitution, whereby then we later on ourselves, youth becoming radical, the older people pointing fingers and saying, yeah, the youths are not doing like the mandate they're supposed to do. So let's have constitutionalism both in paper and in practice. And I think there onwards, we will progress as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Chifamba, your last words.
Okay, thank you very much, Tawanda. My words of encouragement, let's think outside the box, say no to drugs, avoid being sexually exploited, keep your head high, have focus in whatever you do. At the end of the day, count your blessings and give praise to the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very short and brief. I'll allow our Mashinga, then of course, Honorable, you can then be the last.
Thank you very much. In my parting notes, today we wind the 16 days of activism against child marriages. I have appreciated the discussion that has taken place here. But sometimes I think it can become worrisome that we may dedicate a whole discussion to discussing problems and causes,
Yes.
like you were saying,
Yeah.
without coming up with the solutions that we need to come to the space where we are actively involved.
Yeah.
And I think what is also important is the messaging. How do we message our position? I like what my brother has said here, that let us put our message that centers around interests and not positions.
Yes.
Because if we message around interests, it attracts. If we message around positions, it creates a defensive attitude so that you won't find cooperation where you think you should find cooperation. There is an improper perception that people think politics is the space to exercise power.
Yeah.
And it is not necessarily the only space to exercise power. My sister there has been giving names of young people who have made impactful things in our lives. That also is a source of power. So let us work around what puts us into positions of power, not necessarily political power. Yes, political power is important, but it's not the only exclusive thing. Sometimes we argue about things. I want to give you an example of what His Excellency the President said last week. I think there has been a talk around the country about electoral reforms. You heard what he said. The question that he posed was, which electoral reforms?
Yeah.
That was the question that he asked, which electoral reforms? And you see, people were, even myself, I was sort of taken aback as, okay, so he doesn't know. So sometimes we think people know, but then at the end, people do not what? Do not know. So we want to make noises at the correct platform.
Yeah.
If we make noises at the correct platform, then things will work for us. In my parting words, I quote the book of Romans chapter 14 verse 19, which says, let us all pursue what leads to peace and mutual edification. Thank you very much.
Powerful. Thank you so much, Mashinga. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to ask a simple question. Why do people have weddings, or why do people wed? Can I have one person to answer me? Why do people wed? Why do people get married and they wed, especially a wedding? Why do people wed? I know you are very exposed to this. You are all Christians here, and I know you know it. Why do people go for a wedding? Or why do people wed? I just want one person to answer me. Sorry? Okay, it's an expected social cohesion. That's one answer. Let me have another one answer. Anyone else to do briefly? Yes?
From a Christianity point of view,
it's an obligation. Okay, thank you very much. Why do people go to church? Sorry, I'm getting there. Just give me 2 minutes, I'll be done. Yes, madam? It's a personal choice. Okay, thank you very much. All right, I wish I could get someone to give me the right answer. Yes? Good. I like the second part, to go to heaven. And are we going to heaven now, or it's a future thing that we're supposed to do? And it's future. We wed because we are talking about the future. Is that not so? You want to be able to secure your future. Is that so? Are we agreed? You wed because you want to secure your future with the right person, and you want to secure your life, because at the end of the day, you are getting the person we're supposed to say, I am going to be with you till the very end. Is that not so? Okay. The reason why we go to church is because but also because we know in future we are supposed to go to heaven. So my concluding parts is that it's about the future. Can you say it's about the future? What I want to say is, we are having a conversation right now as young people. But if look to it, the older generation, let me try so that I make it very clear. The older generation, the challenge they are having is because they are not assured of their future. We as the young people, the moment that we engage the older people, you start shouting at them. You start telling them, so for them to be able to believe that their future is safe, they are scared. They are scared to an extent that even the moment that us as young people go there and then we tell them we want to take that place, the moment that they think that, they become scared because they are not assured of their future. I am encouraging us as young women, as young men, that as much as we want to be very much offensive, as much as we want to get into a fighting mood, we need to engage. I know we have done it, but we have not managed to do it. But the moment that the older generation feel that they are safe, the moment that they know that their future is assured, they will definitely say, I know with this person we can be able to know where our future will be. Is that not it? To an extent that we as the young people, the moment that we start getting this offensive way, it becomes a problem and a hindrance for our future as the young people. I feel that as young people, let us engage. Let us tell them off. Let us argue objectively. It's not a matter of us showing that my youth, my ghetto youth, it's not our aesthetic. It's a matter of us, as much as it is, we appreciate their efforts. We know for us to be here is because of their efforts. So what we need to understand is a situation whereby we get into a conversation to tell them, you have played your part and we appreciate. We are not taking you there, we are not removing you there from there, but we also need our opportunity as the young people of Zimbabwe. When it comes to policy, I feel that yesterday I was in the budget. I'm an assistant speaker in parliament. So what happens is each and every single time I'm supposed to chair the parliament so that at least we can get to the budget. When I was there, I'm being honest with you, we got to the youth fort. When we got there, I was the one chairing. I had to go and look for someone else so that at least I could get a replacement so that we could argue about the youth budget. When I then went there, I had to ask Honorable Mukumalo, who is also another fellow assistant speaker, and I started debating. I had to leave the chair so that I could speak. I'm being honest with you, I was the only MP who discussed on the Ministry of Youth budget. Reason being, we do not have the numbers when it comes to the young people. So whenever we want to change policy, the issue is about the numbers. Whenever we want to speak about whatever we expect from the young people, it's about the numbers. Yet we have got the numbers. Why are we not utilizing the numbers as young people? We need to embrace each other. I was saying it and I need to be clear. Let us appreciate each other. Let us stop witch hunting. It doesn't take us anywhere. Let us stop negative talk. Negativity does not bring anything unless another negativity. The moment that you become so negative, you become toxic. We don't need to be toxic young women if we want our future to be bright. Our future can only be, rest assured, can only be guaranteed if we show that we can embrace, if we show that we can be able to appreciate. Let me be able to close with a parting shot of what His Excellency Dr. Idi Mnangagwa said. He said, let the young people lead. He said it. So if he has given us an opportunity to let us lead, I expect a lot of young people to be in parliament so that the numbers can speak. I expect a lot of young people to be in local government so that the numbers speak. I thank you. God bless you.
Powerful.